Well, thank you for coming on the red carpet round table with myself. My co-host's unable to make it, but what can you tell the audience about yourself?
Well, my name is Cali. I am 13 years old. I have been acting for 3 years, almost four now. And I also do stand-up comedy, and I'm also an influencer.
And what got you into stand-up comedy?
Hmm. Well, I used to do improv comedy at the LA Comedy Connection Theater down in Burbank. I did that for about a year, and we would go to the Comedy Chateau every now and then. So we ended up going to see stand-up comedy shows. And then one day, uh, like a year later, we got an audition for America's Got Talent. And they're like, we're looking for kids stand-up comedians. And we're like, okay, we'll give it a try. So we did that. Then about a few days later, we found out about Sunday auditions at the Comedy Chateau. So we came up with a little bit. We went down to Sunday auditions and we ended up getting booked on a show. And I just been doing it for about 6 months now because I really enjoy it. I really enjoy being up on the stage, making people laugh, just kind of talking to the audience. I find it a lot of fun.
Well, that's amazing. And I've got to ask you, do you ever get stage frightness or scared?
I don't really get stage fright. However, I do remember when I first started out doing stand-up comedy, I was extremely nervous to the point where I could not see the audience at all. All I could see was light. And then as I kept going, I kind of got a bit more comfortable on stage. But I never really had like stage fright where I would like freeze, you know?
Hmm. What is your acting career now? Is what got you into acting?
What got me into acting actually was horror movies when I was 7 years old. And I really wanted to be in horror movies one day. However, now I would say I'm more led into like drama horror movies. And now I really want to direct and write my own films one day about just a ton of stuff I like or about like problems in the world to see what I can do to help out. And that I would say that's also what kind of got me more into acting because obviously when I was younger, I could have just stopped at any time and decided I didn't really like acting. But when I realized how these films can kind of make a person think, how it can make a person feel for a character, how well written they are, just how enjoyable it is to be on set, I loved it so much and I've been doing it ever since.
And have you ever, oh, well, my follow backup question is, did you ever done theater? And if so, do you like theater or do you like on screen?
I love theater. I love like Broadway and stuff like that. I have never performed in a theater show though. However, I am really trying to get into doing screen acting and theater acting. I have auditioned for a few plays and I have also auditioned and a musical. And I never booked them. I did get callbacks though, so I was really happy on myself then. So I'm just kind of trying to work on that because I do really want to do Broadway. I love it.
And where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hmm. Where I see myself in 5 years is hopefully making this one film that I'm already starting to write. It's about Shinju, which basically is a thing that took place in the Edo period of Japan, like a ton of plays back then and stuff. And I have been really interested in it and I wanted to make a film about it. I want to make all of these different films about all these problems in the world. I want to try and help the world like solve the homelessness problem and all of that stuff. And I see myself just keep on acting, working on more films, working on more sets because I really do enjoy it and I really want to make acting my life one day. And yeah,
And did you fall in love with Japanese culture?
yes, I love Japanese culture so much. I find it to be a very beautiful culture,
Hmm.
in my opinion. I take a lot of interest in specifically the Edo period of Japan. I don't know why. I just been so interested in it since I was like 9. I just love that. I just love its history, the culture, and everything. It's beautiful.
That's pretty amazing. Japanese culture is actually really cool to learn, and I like the Edo period as well. Um, Your acting project, do you have, you said, oh, you have a comedy show tomorrow, right? Is that correct? And
Yes,
if you're allowed, where are you performing that at?
I am performing it at the Comedy Chateau down in North Hollywood.
Hmm. And your acting project, what are your upcoming projects and what film have you done and where can people see most of your acting projects?
A recent film that I have shot is called Symbiosis. It's a beautiful film. The director is amazing. He also wrote the script. It was a student film for Chapman. And when I tell you I cried reading the script, I really did. It was such an amazing film to work on, to work with the dad and all of the different people on that set. I loved it so much. I'm not sure if we'll be going to film festivals, but I assume that that would be where you would be able to find it, is in film festivals once it comes out. I also have shot pieces. It's basically about this girl who is a 12-year-old TV show host for kids called Daisy, who I play. And she starts getting suspicious after her sister's friend goes missing. It is a really, really cool film. I really enjoy watching it. And it has actually won a film festival called the Soho Film Festival. So I'm super proud of it. Yay. Um,
Congratulations.
thank you. I have also did a film called The Calling. It is a feature film.
Hmm.
I basically played the younger version of the main character, if I remember correctly. And it's a horror film actually. And it's about this girl whose mother used to stole babies because she couldn't have any of her own. And yeah, I it's a very interesting film and I love it so much. And I'm pretty sure they will try and sell it to Prime. But yeah.
And where can people see these films?
I think Pieces is still making its rounds in film festivals. Symbiosis has not come out yet, but when it does come out, I think it might be going to film festivals. Again, I'm not sure, but that's where I would assume it would be going. And The Calling, I'm assuming they would try and sell it to Prime Video.
That's amazing. Um, what Going to the more acting question, what can you tell everyone who wants to get into the entertainment industry, be an actor or an actress? What is one thing that you have learned that you can tell everybody about it? Like that what's, it's not easy peasy, what's your advice and stuff like that?
Well, it is definitely not easy. There is a lot of rejection, a lot of hard work. There is a lot of people who you might not like working with on set, but you got to work with them anyway. So you kind of got to deal with that too. It really depends on the genre you want to do, but if you want to do like drama or horror, crying is an essential. You need to learn how to feel real emotion. And really, that all kind of comes up from just
Hmm.
acting. I would say you really do have to love it to really, really have a good scene because if you don't love it, it really does come through in your eyes and stuff. People can actually tell. But if you really enjoy it and you really enjoy being on set for like 12 hours a day, doing school on set, doing this, going, okay, here we go, switching the lights and immediately going back to set, then crying, having to go, cry again, do all
Hmm.
these multiple takes over and over and over again, then it really comes through. And I feel like you have to have a good why for acting, which is an essential for an actor is their why. Why do they want to do acting? Why are they doing acting? Your It really comes down to the why you're doing acting that kind of shows up too.
And the follow-up is, why are you got into acting?
I would say I really got into acting because I really want to change the world. I want to change a lot of people's minds because obviously our world isn't at the best place it has ever been at. There's a lot of problems such as homelessness and all of this stuff that I feel like films can really change. if you can really touch a person's heart and make them think about why was this film created, maybe that can do something.
Hmm.
Maybe that can help people go donate to homeless shelters to help these people. It can just really change the world in the end. It can make people feel for other people who aren't for people they don't even know who are struggling right now. And I think that's really the magic of films because it tells a story. And yeah, that's kind of my reason as to why I'm acting because I love being in character so much. I love playing all of these different characters. I love acting out these situations that do happen in real life because I know someone is going to see that and they're going to feel pain for my character. They're going to feel pain for all the people who have gone through
Hmm.
what that character has gone through.
And that's very touching. We want to change the world. And, and you're right. We want to make films in front of homeless centers or, do something to change the community in your own area or, to impact every state in the United States and around the world. So that's very true. I totally agree with you. And are you involved in any charities or any nonprofit organization?
I'm not necessarily involved in any charities, but I would love to do a charity. I have donated to charities before. I don't remember the name of them, but they were super awesome charities. I donated to homeless charities and I also have donated to LGBTQ charities before all the time. I love helping people and yeah.
That's amazing that you want to help people. It's really touching, have a kind heart, and that's how we impact the world. People will be looking at you and following your footsteps. What is your dream of, what you want to, your goal, to help the communities or the world? And if you could start a charity or nonprofit organization, um, what would it be?
Hmm. Well, I would definitely start a charity to go to such as homeless shelters. So that way I could help as much homeless people as I can. Because I always feel so sad when I see homeless people. I feel really bad for them and I want to help them in any way that I can. So I feel like I would put as much money as I can towards there to help that problem. And then I think I would also go to LGBTQ charities because obviously there is another big problem in our world there too. There has been a lot of queer teen suicide and all of that stuff. And I would really
Mhm.
like to try and help that as much as possible too.
That's amazing. Now you were on set on Darman, is that correct?
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Darman it's big, it's on YouTube, it's spreading the world. Everybody's watching it online. What can you tell the audience, your fun fact and your fun role on being on Darman?
Fun fact, Sean and Kato are really cool people, aka Jay and Mikey. They are really nice. We love them so much. I have worked with them a few times before. There was a video I worked on with both of them where I basically played a cheerleader, and it was we had to learn a cheer routine like about a day before filming. It was a simple cheer routine, but we ended up doing it so much that day that I was hearing it inside of my dreams. And to this day, I still kind of like remember the move. So that was a lot of fun. We made a lot of friends that day, cheering with all of these other cheerleaders. It was a blast.
And what do you miss about Darman?
Hmm. Well, I really miss working with some of the people who I met on there. Like I have met one of my best friends working on Darman, and literally how we met was on a break. She yapped me and I yapped back, and that's how we became friends. So I really do miss working with the people on there.
Hmm. And as as an actress, is your favorite genre before you said anything with horror movie? So it's kind of, I know you got excited. It's kind of crazy that as a young girl, young actress, I'm sorry, but that loves horror movie. So curious question is what got you into horror movie?
I really love the acting. I also really love the gore. That's why Terrifier is one of my favorite horror movies, one of my favorite franchises. Um, the filmmaking, all of the different shots, the special effects. OMG, the gore special effects. I cannot get over that still to this day. But I just really, really want to make a horror movie that is just both gory but has an amazing story, disturbing but not too disturbing, but also like scary, just like a
Hmm.
mix of all of these horror movies. And I love how different horror movies can be. Like Terrifier. Terrifier is a pretty different horror movie than what you would normally see. Or I really like Chucky. I feel like he's such a classic haunted doll. Child's Play was my first horror movie. So again, Chucky kind of started the thing for haunted dolls. I'm also into paranormal, so Insidious. I'm just saying love the paranormal, and I feel like Insidious with the involvement of like the paranormal is also really good. Or The Sixth Sense from M. Night Shyamalan. That was such a good one. It was very paranormal.
Hmm.
Amazing acting and the twist at the end. I would never see that coming in a million years.
Wow,
So good.
it's mind blowing that you love horror movie. How about Conjuring?
Ooh, I have not seen The Conjuring yet, but I know about it and I am probably going to go watch it tonight because I've been trying to watch it.
Um, now the acting questions is what is the most challenging role you ever taken and why?
Ooh. Hmm. I'm thinking. uh, hmm. I I would say I'm gonna be honest. Probably for me, it was probably Darman, because I normally do such like kind of like more mild acting than more
Hmm.
of like the YouTube acting. So it was kind of different for me, but it was kind of different, kind of easy. It was a mix of all of that. But I would have to say that or Symbiosis, which is another reason I was so honored to take on this role, was because the character I was playing, there was so much lore to this character that I had to work with. And I tell you, I kid you not, me and the dad literally spent minutes on set while they
Hmm.
were fixing stuff talking about this, like what's happening here, what are some things we can find in between this, how is the character feeling, or in what way. We literally got down to the deepest depths of the script to get even just saying a line well. We tried all of these different things to figure out what worked, and it was definitely way more challenging because I have yet to work with an actor like I have worked with the dad on Symbiosis, who kind of plays around with acting like that. And it was challenging. It was amazing. It was a wonderful experience. And I feel like we got some of the best scenes out of that.
Wow, amazing. Um, what is the most funnest and the most funniest scene you've done while acting?
Hmm. Um, I'm thinking we're going back to Symbiosis for a second. Um, so a lot of the times the dad was telling me not to call him dad because he fostered me
Hmm.
after his daughter died. And actually, in between each scene, there was this joke because the very first day I shot the scene where I basically sent myself back to the orphanage. And so there was this joke that we kept saying called, yeah, you basically send yourself back to the orphan home, the orphan store. My bad. It was funny though. And I feel like it was so hard to not laugh, just staring
Mhm.
at the dad. So I feel
Wow.
like any scene that I do on a film where I have to stare at another actor, it takes all of my might to keep myself from not laughing. Or there was another time I shot for Life Lessons with Lewis, and I was playing an abused foster child. And so the stepmother had to take, I had to stare at her again, okay? And she had to take something out of her pocket, shove it in my face, and be like, you see this? This means you work for me. And it was so, I broke so bad after the scene. It was so hard to not laugh. That was the funniest experience ever.
Wow. So it's really hard for you to stare an actor.
Now, if I'm just like kind of like staring, that's easy. But if I have to stare at another actor who's doing something like this, that's hard, yeah.
Wow. How hard is it?
I feel like it actually isn't that hard. Sometimes you just kind of got to think like as the character. It really depends on how funny it actually is. Like if you can just like no longer think as a character anymore and like, oh my gee, I'm gonna laugh, then yeah, it's really hard. But it really comes down to a lot of practice, a lot of doing that on set for it to be pretty easy.
Right. That's good. What do you hope to achieve as being an actress so far?
I really hope I get to work with Tim Burton and M. Night Shyamalan one day. They're two of my favorite directors ever. I love their films so much, especially Tim Burton. There is a beauty behind his films, behind the vibe of his films that I just love so much. Like Sweeney Todd, there is a very specific beauty to that if you look close enough, how it's shot, all of this stuff. I love it so much. I love M. Night Shyamalan too. His thriller films, how they have a twist at the end. I just love it. Again, the quality, the filming, all of these different shots to tell the
Hmm.
story. I just
Hmm.
there's nothing better than it. And it is so addicting to me. I hope I get to work with them one day.
That's amazing. Hopefully you will one day. I believe you will.
Hopefully.
Um, is there any role that deeply affected you or changed you in a permanent manner?
I wouldn't say not like permanent yet, but I will say I worked on a film called Dissociated Me, where I played the younger version of Janae. And that is the first time I have ever heard of disassociating. And it kind of got me a bit more interested in like psychology, what's going on in people's brains. And I kind of viewed that different. Like when
Hmm.
I'm watching a psychological horror movie, I view some of the characters different. Like what's going on in their brains that could have make them done this. And I view horror movies again like Get Out. That was a horror movie I watched because someone who did disassociated said that Get Out was kind of like an example of that. Like that's how it felt like. And so horror movies like Get Out from Jordan Peele, I view differently as that too. I'm like, oh, this is what someone feels like when they
Hmm. Hmm.
disassociate.
And do you also see yourself being a film director one day?
Yes, I really hope I get to. I want to direct my own films one day. Um, I just love I just love it. There was actually a time in an acting class where I got to be a DP and I got to work with the camera and stuff. And someone did a director, and I found it really cool that you get to make these choices on how your film is shot and how the DP and the director have communication. So it definitely like we got a really good take out of someone's scene from an acting class. And I learned that I was apparently good at that too, which I was really happy about. So I see myself film directing one day. I love movies. I love
Hmm.
shows so much that I definitely could not see myself not directing one in the future.
And what is your dream film that you want to direct?
Mm. Shinju again, which would be like a drama one, or a horror one about a Japanese urban legend because I'm kind of into urban legends too,
Hmm.
and I would love to shoot a horror film based off one in the
Wow,
future.
we can't you can't get away from horror film.
I love it so much. They're so amazing, and I love them. I love them so much.
And what is your favorite genre other than horror movie?
Mm. Drama
Hmm.
or drama or comedy. Comedy specifically, I like really funny movies like White Chicks. I was dying laughing that entire movie. There was not a time I wasn't laughing. I just love it so much. And I still laugh when I think about a scene from that movie today. And drama, because again, it can make people think, it can make people feel for a character. Girl Interrupted is an amazing example about this. And it also really helps show off people's writing skills because a good drama script will make an amazing drama movie with good acting. And again, Girl Interrupted is an amazing example of this. Gia with Angelina Jolie is
Hmm.
another amazing example of this. I found myself watching Girl Interrupted and Gia multiple times. Like I pretty much memorized a ton of parts from those movies because I watched them so many times. I learn from them. I take notes from them. It's just such amazing drama films with amazing writing and amazing acting. I just love them so much.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I've seen it, and I totally agree with you. Everything was so good in that film. Um, you know, I like comedy movies. I didn't used to be too big about it, but now I like it. It kind of makes you happy in that moment, and all that. Um, my what is your advice for anybody out there? I know we talked about a little bit about it, but what's your advice for anybody who wants to get into being a comedian or being an actress?
For comedy, I would say, again, it really comes down to how much people like you, if you're a likable person. Again, it also kind of depends on if you are a kid or an adult doing stand-up comedy. That kind of changes the crowd a little bit. However, I would say take experiences from your life and turn them into jokes that people can laugh about because in the end stand-up comedy is really you going on stage complaining about the bad in a funny way for the people to laugh at and kind of gives people a break from reality for a while. So
Mhm.
take
Mhm.
experiences from your life and turn them into stuff that people can laugh at. For acting, I would say go on a set once, see how much you like doing all of that stuff. And if you do really enjoy it, find a genre that you really enjoy doing and focus on that genre. Practice makes perfect. Memorization makes perfect. Sometimes there are writers who are so exact in a script that if you mess up a line, you have to redo the whole take. I kid you not. There are writers out there, and that is a completely normal thing. But again, it normally just comes down to practice on memorizing a lot of practice. When I started out, I had a very hard time memorizing stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now it's much easier. I do struggle on monologues a little bit. Monologues, that's another thing. practice memorizing monologues because the difference between a scene and like a scene with another person and a monologue is there isn't another person talking. So you don't have someone else's line to go off of. It's just you. You're just the one talking. So sometimes what people recommend doing is writing little lines that you can think in your head in between there. I don't necessarily do that. I necessarily kind of just think it as I go on and I focus on the monologue, I focus on the emotion, but definitely practice that and really practice getting into getting natural emotion to come up because the more natural it is, the more beautiful it is. Your eyes can tell a story.
Hmm.
If you think it, if you feel it, we can see it.
Very true, because that's what a lot of people say. It's like if they can feel your emotion through the screen, your tears,
Yeah,
and all that, then the audience will feel as well. And that's what makes the film or TV show more impact and more powerful. And that's how you can change the community and change the world. So that's 100%. So when you're on stage as a comedian, how do you come up with your ideas and make people laugh?
I normally take experiences from my real life. My mom and my brother, my mom helps me, and then my brother, he kind of tells me what he thinks of them or not, because again, I am a teenager, so I am also trying to aim them for like a teenage and adult audience. Um, but on stage, I just really live in the moment because again, there are going to be sometimes people like hucklers and stuff like that who will yell something at you,
Hmm.
but that's
Hmm.
also them giving you something to work with. So that's where crowd work comes in, which also takes a lot of practice and involves being in the moment, which is another thing for acting too. If you're in the moment, you can say something really funny and not even realize it that the audience will die about. I had it happen to me once on a show because yeah, someone, well actually it was in a class.
Hmm.
Um someone someone that like no one raised their hand when I asked if anyone was a middle child there. And obviously that wasn't planned. I didn't know what to do. And I ended up saying something and it ended up working. So again, it really involves being in the moment for that kind of stuff. And then just go on stage and enjoy yourself. The more comfortable you are on stage, we can tell if you're comfortable or nervous. And that also will help with your set too. If you're comfortable on stage, you're really taking your time because speed kills, which is a common thing you will hear if you do stand up comedy. I got told that a lot, and I do get told that a lot. I get reminded that a lot. Take your time on stage, really soak in
Hmm.
every moment.
That's good that you brought up the stage hustlers, those people that may get mad at you or stuff like that. And I think it's very good you talk about it to get everybody who wants to get into comedy to be prepared, right? And you hate to say it's normal, but it is. Everybody is going to face it some point, and it's unfortunate, but it's also part of the entertainment industry. So thank you for bringing that up. In also I want to say it's like you say it's memorization, right? You brought memorization. It's good to try to memorize your lines and to be confident. Like you said, we want to be confident and and be there and be happy on what and be encourage yourself to have fun and just just how be out there. So
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Now you're acting. Any upcoming projects?
I unfortunately do not have any more upcoming projects besides Symbiosis. However, I really hope I'm going to keep making films and stuff. I'm going to keep auditioning. I'm going to keep working. I hope so, at least. And if I have any more, I will definitely let everyone know.
Or I appreciate it. Please let everyone know. And then where can people find you?
People can find me on YouTube at Cali.Kira or Instagram, Cali.Kira.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the Red Carpet Roundtable. Again, thank you so much. And and we will support you, and we're so happy all the journeys you're doing, and we can't wait to have you back on.
Thank you so much. And it was such an honor to be here.
Well, thank you. It's such an honor to have you on our show, Callie. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, and we look forward to having you back on.
I look forward to it too.
All right, talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye-bye.